Hello, and welcome back to Sercoach Shows Off Pathfinder 2e. Today, I want to talk about the crafting system in Pathfinder, 2nd edition. So, it has a fairly nice format, but there's one major tweak I want to deal with, and that apparently a lot of GMs will house rule, and that's the time that it takes. Now, why do I say this? In Pathfinder 2e, regardless of what level of item you are making, it takes you 4 days minimum to make any item. So it doesn't matter if, for example, you're making a predictable silver piece. This is basically just a two-headed coin. 4 days. Or if you go all the way down to a level 20 item, the Rod of Cancellation. 4 days. Doesn't matter how skilled you are. Whatever. It'll take 4 days to make any items minimum. Now, why do I say minimum? Well, in general, the way that Pathfinder 2e does crafting, you have to spend half of the resource cost of an item in order to start crafting it. Once you have paid that half cost, you then spend 4 days working on it. After those 4 days, you do a crafting check based off what you're trying to make. If you're successful, great. At that point, you can finish paying off the cost of the item, in which case you have just paid for the full cost of the item directly, but it only takes you 4 days and you don't have to find a merchant. Great. Or you can work an additional day and reduce the amount remaining to pay for every day that you spend. And that's going to be based off of this earned income chart down here. So it's based off your level. So if you get a 20 and you're legendary, or if you're level 20 and you're legendary in crafting, every day reduces the additional cost by the item by 200 gold. Whereas if you're only a level 1, you're only taking some silver piece off of it. So it's still going to take you a little while to get the item for its regular half cost. Keep that in mind. Crafting will never go below half cost of the item. And that's if you have enough time to devote. In general, the crafting's alright. In order to create an item that's 9th level or higher, you have to be master in crafting. 16th or higher, to do anything, you have to be legendary. And some things are level 0. It takes 4 days to make a level 20 item. It takes 4 days to make a level 0 item. That does not feel right. So I've made a quick modification. The crafting check, still the same. You can salvage raw materials if you end up failing it, or if you crit fail, you still lose the same amount. You have to be the same level requirements to make the higher level items. You have to have an appropriate set of tools, so you can't make a set of armor without blacksmithing tools. You can't make alchemical potions without an alchemist lab. You still spend half the cost to get going on the material. The difference is the time required. This section right here is essentially what I'm adding on, instead of having the 4 days. Firstly, instead of taking 4 days, it is 1 day per level of the item. Okay, that sounds good for level 1 items, and level 2, level 3, it makes it shorter. Level 4, you're breaking even. Anything above that, it's taking longer to make. Level 0 items, baseline, half a day. They're easier than level 1 items, so it takes less time. Consumables, batches of 10, just like for basic crafting. Or if you don't want to make it in batch of 10, you treat it as half its normal level. So if it's a level 7 item, well, you would have to round up in this case, so it would be treated as level 4 item for if you're only making one of them. Now here's where I added in a little bit more. If you're an expert in crafting, it takes you half as long to make things. So now that level 4 item is only taking 2 days base. That level 20 item, if you're only an expert, would take 10 days. And every proficiency level you are above the base, you're going to reduce the time required by half. So half normal, 4th normal, 1/8 normal. And these will all get rounded up. You're also allowed to make shoddy items. And if you're not familiar, shoddy items, descriptor in that, they're worth half the price. That keeps into account, so half the price normal. So essentially you're paying quarter the price. Can't sell it, because nobody wants to buy something shoddy. Any checks or anything, get -2 penalty on it. Same for DCs, AC, whatever, and armor check penalty's worse. So you can make it if you want to. Beyond that, if an item with your increased proficiency in crafting, its time would be less than a day, you could make multiple in 1 day, so long as the total time does not exceed 1 day. So I have an example in here. Let's say you want to make a level 3 item, and you are legendary in crafting. That means you divide that time by 8. So you would only need 3/8 of a day in order to make a level 3 item. If I make 2 of them, that would be 6/8 of a day, which is still less than 1. So I could make 2 of them in one day. I could not make 3, because that would be 9/8, which is more than 1. So I can't make 3 of them in one day. I could make 2. This basic change should make downtime slightly better for crafting item. It'll make it so, oh, I want to make a really godly item. It's going to take you a little while still, because I'm not changing how you reduce the cost of it after you have done the halfway point. You pay for half, you do your crafting check, and then you can either pay the other half to finish it, or spend a day and reduce the amount remaining by that earned income table. Still using the same table. So the only difference changing is the initial amount of time it takes. Feel free to use this. I will have this uploaded and there'll be a link down below. This is Sercoach signing off.